Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. I am back again with another podcast. I just want to preface this podcast by saying I am not a licensed psychiatrist, psychologist, doctor, nutritionist, whatever. I am a college student who is currently studying to be a psychologist. I want to work with eating disorder patients. So I would like to think that I'm pretty good at researching. I'm pretty good at just looking things up and trying to fact check things, because that's what they teach you in college, just how to fact check, how to research, stuff like that. So I just want to preface that, because today what I want to discuss is Amberlynn Reid and Foodie Beauty, and a few other videos that kind of sparked my attention, sparked my interest, the psychologist in me. I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to draw it back to some things I've been researching. I thought it was kind of interesting just to see how, in research, how it draws back to what I'm watching on YouTube, even though it's messy. I don't think that my presence or my job here on YouTube is to be kind of a drama reaction style channel. That's not really, I don't do that very well. I try to, I don't do that very well. I like rationalizing things. I like, kind of looking at things and finding out where they specifically come from. So in that aspect, I don't really care, for example, about the Pete's kind of drama and how he's going off on, on Twitter. I don't look at that as oh girl, the girl's going off on Twitter. I kind of look at that as he's an enabler, and let's look at the signs of an enabler, and let's kind of, pinpoint where maybe you have an enabler in your life, or where you are an enabler, and how, you can kind of fix that, and, stuff like that. I don't look at these things like that Amber and Foodie are doing and be oh, they're terrible people, which they are. I kind of look at that and go, wow, let me see if I can open the DSM-5 and kind of draw this back to this, or if I can find a psychologist APA research article and see how that draws back to what they were researching and what they studied and what they experimented on. So that's kind of why I think I'm not really good at being a reaction channel, also because on top of research, it takes time, and to be able to react, you have to react. You don't research on it, you just react. So that's kind of what this is going to be about. I want to talk about food addiction, binge eating, emotional eating, because I think these two women did display that in their last few videos. If you hear rustling, I do have these notes written down, because I don't want to forget anything or leave anything out. So the first part, I just want to go over very, very briefly. I'm going to, again, put a table of contents below, but this first part is just going to be kind of the boring, kind of what I researched about food addiction, binge eating, and stuff like that. And then we're going to talk about Amberlynn Reid, and we're going to kind of draw some connections back into what we were talking about before. And I also do want to, talk about other things that have to go with her, but, you'll see when we get there. And then we'll talk about Foodie Beauty and Pete's and the enabling and just the craziness over in that corner. So if you guys, again, like these type of podcasts, like these type of talks, this is not meant for you to watch, if that makes sense. You just listen to it. So go ahead, clean your house, girl. If you're driving the car, this is perfect for that. Working out in the gym, perfect. I wanted to make it a format where it's easier for you guys to kind of just listen to, take it all in. So if you like these things, let me know in the comments below, and follow me on all social media. They'll be down below, and let's get right into it. So the first thing I wanted to research was food addiction, because I knew that food addiction is a thing. Okay, food addiction is a thing. I know when people eat certain foods, especially if they're, unhealthy, processed, stuff like that. They do send off these signals in your brain, stuff like that, that give you pleasure, right? So just like any type of addiction, alcoholic, anything like that, drugs, there's some type of pleasure response connected to that. Okay, so same thing with food addiction. And what I looked up and what I found is the term food addiction suggests that an individual may experience addictive-like responses to food, similar to those seen with classic substances of abuse. And then what I was reading in the abstract, they also go on to say that people who have food addiction may also have eating disordered behaviors. They still have to research if this is, closely linked to bulimia and binge eating disorder. Again, I don't know if you guys seen that before, my previous video on binge eating disorder, but again, you can have binge eating disorder and not be bulimic. I just want to make that clear. But they are trying to see if food addiction does draw back to having binge eating disorder or bulimia. So that's what a lot of articles I was looking up was saying. So I thought that was just interesting because, you hear Foodie Beauty and Amberlynn and probably Amy. I'm not going to lie. I don't listen to her because she's boring. But, Foodie and Amber have their moments. But Amy is pretty boring. I'm sorry. She's boring. That's another topic. But you do hear these women saying, many of times saying that, I have a food addiction issue. I'm addicted to food. I have food addiction. And then they'll go on to say that I binge. I have a binge eating disorder, So people are trying to, these researchers and psychologists and psychiatrists and all those doctorates and whatever, they're trying to see if they can draw food addiction back into those eating disorders because people, they're seeing correlation. But again, correlation does not equal causation. Do want to put that in there. Then what I went into researching is binge eating. Now, if you've ever looked at the DSM-5, you cannot just willy-nilly diagnose yourself. A lot of the disorders in the DSM-5 take months, at least months, to find patterns in your behavior to diagnose a said disorder. So like, for instance, bipolar disorder. It takes time to diagnose that because you have to go through a few cycles, a few patterns. You can't just come into a doctor's office and say, I was sad on Monday, now I'm freaking ecstatic. They're going to go, okay, well, let's keep a close eye on that and let's continue to see each other and let's see what happens. Because many of the disorders, mental disorders and stuff like that, are behaviors. And behaviors don't happen just over a short period of time. They're long lasting. Those are habits that we have instilled in ourselves to become those behaviors. So when I heard, again, not a psychologist, but when I heard that, Amber was like, yeah, I went to the psychiatrist today and they said that I have bipolar disorder. I don't want to knock anyone off of their, mental health, because mental health is very important. But it was kind of like, how long were you seeing this person? You literally went once. Again, I don't know how they can figure that out. I'm not a psychologist. Maybe in the future I'll learn. But from what I do understand, it takes a minute to diagnose that type of disorder. Same thing with binge eating. Binge eating is reoccurring episodes. Keyword reoccurring. So these things are happening not once. You didn't just, I got, a little hungry and I ate a whole bag of chips and a pizza and that was an isolated incident. No, this is a reoccurring issue. It happens multiple times over a span of time. So what I looked up is, and this is from the DSM-5 kind of criteria. So how it kind of works is, you have to have a certain amount of criteria to be diagnosed with said disorder. So you can't just be like, oh, I did that, and that's one out of the 8 things to meet that disorder, and you're supposed to have 5 of those to have said disorder. You don't have it. Sorry, hit the mic. Oops. But you don't have it. So okay. So when I was researching, it says recurrent binge eating episodes categorized as the following. So I'm just kind of going to read the little notes I wrote down here. But again, it's in the DSM-5 if you want to go ever search it up. But basically it's saying you're consuming a large amount of food in a short period of time compared to somebody who has the same amount of time and they're in the same circumstances. So say you have an hour, right? No, it's not even 30 minutes before you have to go to work. And no one's home. And you know what? There's a whole bunch of crap in the refrigerator and the pantry. And you eat like 3 bags of family-sized chips. You have 6 bowls of cereal. You literally go in, okay? Clear out the pantry. And I'm using this as an example because I've done this before. You clear out the pantry and you eat like 3 plates of leftovers. You're full. You feel sick. Now you put someone else who doesn't have, that type of disordered behavior in the same kind of circumstances. And, they're like, oh, I have 30 minutes. I'm just going to have a little snack. They might make a plate of food and call it a day. They might have some chips, call it a day. It's something that's not normal. You're eating a lot, okay, in a short period of time. And you kind of feel like you're experiencing a loss of control. So it's like you can't stop. Again, putting someone who doesn't have this issue in the same circumstance, they can go, okay, well, I have all these options. I'm just going to eat one of them. But you go ahead and you start eating one of them and you can't stop. You start eating one. Now you're at the different option. It's a lot. Okay. Now, here's where the criteria come in. Episodes featured at least 3 of the following criteria. Okay. So within an episode, you have to hit at least, let me say it again, at least 3. Not at most 3, at least. So if you hit 2 of these, they might say you have, kind of behaviors of binge eating, but you don't have binge eating. Just like how I think for bipolar disorder, I know bipolar too, you have to hit 5 out of the 8 criteria, I'm pretty sure. Again, I don't know, I have to look it back up, but if you hit 4 out of the 5, you could have traits or behaviors of said disorder, but you don't have it. So the disorder or the traits or the features or the criteria are consuming food faster than normal, consuming food until uncomfortably full, consuming large amounts of food when not, hungry, consuming food alone due to embarrassment of others and how they might, see that you're eating a lot. Sorry about the rustle. This is my paper. And then feeling disgusted, depressed, or guilty after the binge. Okay, so now that we have all that information, all that lovely information, I want to go into talking about Amberlynn Reid. Now, she has started doing mukbangs. I don't know if you guys have noticed. But she has started doing mukbangs, and I believe, let me look this up, we are on like mukbang 3. Oh wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. Girl, we're on mukbang 5. The one I'm going to be talking about specifically is emotional / crying mukbang, creamy cashew, coconut, whatever, Okay, that's the one I want to talk about. So first of all, can we just talk about the thumbnails? I know I just don't understand if you don't want people to think that you're not trying to monopolize off of you being big and you eating, or you don't want people to have a problem with you being big and you eating on the internet, doing mukbangs. Why would you have your thumbnails be you pretending to stuff your throat? I don't care what it is. It's not sending out a good message. Now, whatever you get from that is what you get from that. And I understand YouTube is like a business, okay? And you're trying to draw people in. Well, girl, you got us drawn in. But the attention that you're getting isn't what you want. But that's kind of what you're advertising to be put out. I don't know if you've seen the feeder comments and you were like, yes, this is what I want. You know, Becky's not awake, so I'm going to just cater to the feeders. I don't know. Girl, it's just not cute, and it's not really helping your case of you trying to, you know, be like, oh, but I am still losing weight, and if I'm not losing weight and I'm doing mukbangs, I'm gonna stop mukbangs. Like, it's not really helping your case, because what you're showing us before we even click the video, you're showing us a story. You're showing us a preview of the BS that we are going to fall into while watching your video. The second thing is the portion sizes. She says that, like, something about she wants to be, I know I talked about this in my last podcast, but she said that she wants to be full up and that there are small portion sizes and all this stuff and yada, yada, yada. Girl, to me, if you have to use 2 plates, it's not a small portion size, girl. That's a big girl size. That's a thick girl size, okay? That's not a small portion. You're using 2 plates to house your food. You should be using 1. And I want to reiterate this. If you're on a diet and you're losing weight, you're going to be hungry. Right now, I'm in cut. I'm doing cut, which is basically a bodybuilder's way of saying they're on a diet. I'm hungry, okay? But I should be hungry because I'm eating less than my maintenance level. You're going to be hungry, okay? And so whenever you're talking about, oh, I want to be filling up, I'm using, you know, whatever, like, no. And I'm confused as to why, again, there's 2 plates. And the one I'm talking about, also, the one I'm looking at, like, the first plate is filled up. The second plate is filled up. You're literally, I don't know what's happening. It's a lot. I don't know why you're eating so many portion sizes in the first place. Okay? It's a lot. And a little tip, a little advice for you, if you're trying to feel full, I wouldn't eat your snack with your meal. Okay, that's not how you do it. You spread it out throughout the day so you feel like you're always getting satiated, but you're still eating less. So, you know, instead of eating your oranges with your whatever the hell that is, your throw up, I don't know, or eating carrots and crackers and jalapenos with your meal, maybe, you know, in the morning have your breakfast, wait a little bit, you know, 2 or 3 hours and have an orange, then wait a little bit more, have your lunch, wait a little bit more, have some crackers, wait a little bit more, have your dinner, wait a little bit more, and have your apples for dessert. You know what I'm saying? You space it out. You're still eating less, but you're spacing it out so you feel more satiated. That's how you do it. You don't, not by stuffing your face in one sitting. And then she, at 7 minutes and 30 seconds, she starts talking about trusting. And she said, you guys have to trust that this is what I'm eating on camera. And she was like, you know, even when I was eating McNuggets, like, I told you guys that was the only thing I was eating. But then she goes into talking about, like, I don't understand how she's trying to get us to believe that that we should trust her. But then in the same breath, she goes, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I did binge eat after my mukbangs, or overeat after my mukbangs. So you're trying to get us to trust you, but you're literally telling us what you're doing. Like, I don't know if that was subconscious, because I believe she's doing that now. She's over here talking about she's never satiated. Okay, see, this is where, for me, my brain starts going back to, like, okay, binge eating, right? Because you're telling me that you're not hungry. Yeah, I mean, you're telling me that you're hungry, and that's why you want to eat, you know, your orange and your meal or whatever to make you feel full, right? So now I know that you're feeling a little bit hungry, you know, a little like you want to eat, because you should, because you're on a diet. But anyway, you're feeling a little bit hungry, and then you're telling me that back in the day you used to binge eat. Okay, so are you telling me right now subconsciously that you're hungry, and when you turn off this camera, you're probably going to binge eat, because it's a cycle? I don't, girl, that's what it's you know, it's like sounding to me. And then I also think of, like, the fact of, I don't think she binge eats on camera. I don't know, that's just me. I think they overeat. Her and Foodie Beauty overeat on camera, because one of the criteria is eating alone, and filming it is not eating alone, because it's going out into, you know, to be viewed. So to me, I feel like they overeat on camera, or they eat on camera to like prove something, like, look, I'm eating healthy, but then they turn the camera off and they binge. That's what I feel like happens, because coming from someone who used to binge, you don't binge in front of people. You don't do that. That's not, I don't want to, put everyone in a box, but usually you don't binge in front of people. It's embarrassing to say, hey, like, I just ate like a good 2,000 calories in a good 30 minutes. Like, that's embarrassing. So I don't think that she binges on camera because of that one criteria, that one aspect of the criteria, that, binging is usually done alone. So that's kind of where the trust is gone for me, and I feel like many of you guys as well, because we know that's not all she eats. The weight would be falling off of her at that size. Falling off. And it's not. Why? Probably because she binge eats. And then I also want to add that she is technically in a calorie deficit, and if she eat, binges a little bit, she might still be in a calorie deficit, but it might be smaller than it was before. So that's probably why she may still be losing weight, but it's slower because the calorie deficit that kind of gap has closed between a calorie deficit and maintenance level, from what I'm thinking. And then she at 10 minutes, she starts talking about mukbangs and how it triggers her to watch mukbangs, but she's going to do them because it helps her eat slower and like all this stuff. So again, that's kind of where in my head I'm like, okay, she's not binging on camera, because binging is kind of like, again, an embarrassing thing that happens and you do it by yourself in your own home, stuff like that. Okay. She's to me she is saying that since you guys are watching me, I can't binge. Like subconsciously, I like saying that word, like subconsciously she's saying, because you guys are watching me right now, I'm not binging. Remember, draw back to that criteria. I feel like that is a very important piece of, evidence that plays a role in Foodie Beauty and Amber's mukbangs. Is they're not binging on camera. They're overeating. They're emotionally eating. But they're not binging on camera because they're being watched. And then that draws into, that's why we can't trust you, because you binge off camera and you try to blame it on us. You try to blame it on, no, it's you. It's you. So, and then for some reason, she starts talking about Obese to Beast and starts quoting him like they're friends. That whole section to me was a mess. And then she said that she's going to go back into the gym when she loses a certain amount of weight, which I feel like you need to prove to yourself that you're going to work out every day before you get a gym membership, because it's a waste of money. Gyms aren't going to tell you like, oh, they're not going to tell you that because they're business. But I'm going to tell you right now, last year, before I ever got a gym membership, I got my gym membership in the summer. I started in the spring. Before I ever got a gym membership, I made sure that I was going to work out every day. Every day. I ran outside. I went to the little small gym that just had an elliptical. If you guys remember my old videos, it just had an elliptical. It just had a little treadmill. I had 1 or 2 weights, and I just did HIIT workouts. I made sure of it that I was going to wake up and go to the gym, or go when I come home from work, that I was going to go to the gym. I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to put that investment forward until I put that investment into myself. So her saying that, I'm going to go to the gym when I get to a certain weight. Girl, prove it to yourself now that you're going to go to the gym. Don't say it. Affirm it. Do it. You know what I'm saying? That's just my little tip, my little advice. I know she's probably not going to take it, but if any of you guys are like, I want a gym membership, prove it to yourself first, because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a gym membership. So prove it to yourself first that you're going to work out every day. Home workouts. You know what I'm saying? Like, go on a run every day. Do something to prove to yourself. Even get some little weights and do some home workouts at home. You know what I'm saying? Just prove to yourself that you're going to, do something every day. So then we get into the emotional eating aspect of this video. That to me was the most disturbing part of this video. I don't know if anyone kind of realized it, but they probably did. She broke down at 20 minutes and started crying. She started talking about how, she doesn't have family anymore and like all this stuff, and like, oh, they're not awake, and like I guess begging her on different sleeping schedules, and she just starts breaking down and crying, but she continues to eat. I think this was a perfect representation, a perfect visual of emotional eating and the damage that when you start putting food and you start pairing that with, comfort. She started crying, and she's still, girl, if I'm crying, I don't want nothing. I just want to lay in bed and cry by myself. I don't want to eat. No. Okay. She literally sat there and started crying and continued to eat. She continued to eat. And for me, that was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of seeing the connection of this is her safety blanket and she's hurting. I feel like that was a pretty vulnerable spot for her. I'm not saying that, everyone feel bad for Amber. No, I'm not saying that, she didn't put herself in that place. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying that she didn't force people away. But I'm saying this was very vulnerable, and it was very telling because you could see that she values food as a comfort. Like, that was very visual. That was a visual representation, a visual kind of melding, meshing together of what we've been speculating. It was on camera. It's out there. To me, that was just like mind blowing. And then that kind of draws into Foodie Booty and her breakup. I don't know if you guys have seen the thumbnail of her breakup video. But she's wearing a red shirt with zebra print on it. And she was crying in that, obviously very emotional. Girl, it's going to be okay. You need to learn to be by yourself. Because, if you never can learn how to be by yourself and learn how to grow by yourself, you can never find someone who will want to nourish and grow with you. My little short TED talk for today. But she was wearing a red shirt with zebra print. And then 2 mukbangs later, she posted ham and grilled cheese mukbang. And she's wearing the same shirt. And in that video, she goes, I forgot to find the timestamp for this, but she says that she doesn't know why she's eating. She's already eaten dinner. She pauses, and then she goes, oh yeah, I know why I'm eating. You're eating because you're sad. You're emotionally eating. Again, very disturbing. These 2 women are showing us how they comfort, how they cope. These are their coping skills. I need to eat. I'm sad. I need to eat. These are their coping skills, and it's very scary. That was played out on camera. I don't know how many of you guys caught that, but that, to me, that was like, whoa. Like, whoa. Whoa. For her to even acknowledge, like, she knows, too. She acknowledged it. She said, oh, wait, I know why I'm eating. You're sad. This is your comfort. Food is your comfort. That to me, I just wanted to point that out to you guys, because those 2 women, like, that really to me is a telling factor of what we've been watching, seeing on YouTube for years. They just basically expose themselves. And then I want to talk about Pete's. I know he's been, popping off on the girls on Twitter or whatever, but I kind of want to talk about his enabling. To me, he's already enabling. She's been broken up with BB for, I don't know, like a week. I don't even know. But just now she uploaded a day ago Wendy's mukbang. And I remember her saying that her doctor told her just to focus on not eating junk food. That's all you need to do. That's the first. Don't eat junk food. That is the easiest step to follow. Girl, and I'll give you that you were even following that step in your mukbangs. You made all those nasty little meals that you had there. But, you break up with BB, Pete's gonna slide in, and he's bringing you to Wendy's. What probably happened was, yo, Pete, you want to go to Wendy's? And he was like, yeah. And you know what? And Pete probably knows that you went to the doctor and the doctor told you not to eat out and eat fast food. And Pete does not care. He's an enabler. He's enabling. And no matter how much he wants to protect you on Twitter, how much he wants to protect you on Instagram, on the YouTubes, it doesn't matter because he's enabling you. At the end of the day, he's killing you. He's helping you kill yourself. You literally know that you literally said that's all you have to do is not go to fast food. You all could have went out to a better restaurant. That's not fast food, but y'all went straight to fast food. And that's within a few days of you breaking up with BB. Girl, get some better friends. Get some better friends, or learn how to be by yourself for a while and learn how you need to be treated and how you need to value yourself, because your friend Pete ain't doing it, because he's letting you indulge in stuff that you know you shouldn't be indulging in. It's a mess. It is a mess. It's messy. It's disgusting. And quite frankly, I don't think he's a good friend. Let him pop off on Twitter all you want, but I don't think he's a good friend. I really don't. He is an enabler. He's enabling. And if he wants to become a better friend, he should have told you, hey, no, you know what? You're hungry right now? How about we stay in and cook? You know, you might have eaten already, foodie. I don't know. But even cooking at home would have been a better option. Let's stay in and cook. But we already know, because she said she said that she was moving in with BB or something. She said that that he doesn't cook. And she's like, it's going to be so much easier for me to want to get fast food because Pete doesn't cook. Girl, do not move in with him. You already know. You are a grown woman. And I know you're making some coin off of these videos. It's not like you get bad comments. You literally have all the love in the world. You got all the feeders over there. Go find a better place to live. You don't have to live in no mansion. You ain't got to live in no house. Okay, you can find a nice little 1-bedroom. Don't live with Pete. You literally just said that he doesn't cook because he wants to, all he does is eat out. And it's going to be very easy for you to binge and eat out with him. Girl, don't. Don't do it. You literally just said, yeah, I know Pete is an enabler. And it's going to be very easy for me to get away with stuff because he's going to enable me. So I'm going to move in with the enabler. I'm so excited. And then guess what, guys? 2 days later, I'm going out to eat to Wendy's with the enabler. It is crazy. To me, that's crazy. That's very crazy. So I'm just going to wrap this segment up really quick. Next time you guys watch Foodie, next time you watch Amber, next time you watch any one of these ladies, just remember like the binge eating disorder criteria. Just remember, emotional eating and kind of what that looks like. Remember that I think these ladies overeat on camera. I don't think they binge eat. I think they binge eat off camera and they overeat on camera. Just remember, kind of the differences between the two. Remember, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not registered. I just like researching. But it kind of makes watching them a little bit more interesting because you're not focusing on the BS that they're talking about. You're kind of looking at their behaviors. And that's how I kind of like to watch them, is to look and view the behaviors and the patterns that they go through, and how that kind of ties back into what I'm learning about in my classes and what I want to do in the future. That's how I watch these women. I don't listen to what they say, because if I wanted to listen to BS, I don't know. I just don't. So there's that segment. Now we're going to read some comments and then I'm going to wrap it up and we'll be done. So under Amberlynn's emotional / crying mukbang, creamy cashew, coconut, eat with me. Bonnie Bush said, you're confusing loneliness with being unfulfilled. You are 30 years old and you have no job, no responsibilities, nothing. You don't even take care of your animals. You don't walk your dog. I'm sure you don't clean cat boxes or even brush your cats. You pour a gallon of food in your dog and cat's bowls. You have no purpose in life until you get a job, go to school, volunteer somewhere. Do something to be a productive human. You are never going to find happiness or fulfillment. Life is more than food, Amber. It is, because she did talk about being lonely. She was like, I feel lonely. I mean, yeah, like I'm sure she does. Like no one's ever in the house when she's awake. When she's awake, all there is food. Becky's sleeping. She doesn't go out and do anything. It must like I could never. She's literally basically put herself on house arrest. At this point, and um, it's crazy. Um, and Ambenizzi's EM said, "I cannot eat while I'm crying. That's a skill, dude." Yeah, that's what I was saying. I can't. I literally, I don't understand how she was boohoo crying and eating. I don't get it. Gemini Moon said, "What do you mean when you have downtime? Your entire life is downtime. You put zero effort into your videos in terms of content or editing. Please stop acting like you work so hard. You get amazing money for being a freak show. That's it." I do agree that she has a lot of time on her hands. She I don't get that. Yeah, I feel like whenever they do any small activity over at that house, they're like, "Oh my god, I changed the trash can. Look at me, everyone." Like, yeah, that's crazy. Or like, "Oh my god, I did the laundry." Like, it's like basic everyday household things, and they're like, they want like a freaking parade to go on. Wondering Woman. So a third of your meal was a freshly meal, and the other 2/3 were what you added. So it wasn't a freshly meal. It was a meal, and you topped it off to make it Amber-sized meal. You're just filming your demise. That's literally what I was saying. Why do you have a thick girl meal? Okay, why you have a thick girl portion? Okay, you literally have a freshly meal. That's your meal, girl. That's it. That's like getting a Weight Watchers meal and going, "Oh, well, this isn't enough. This is going to fill me up." No, it's not, because it's there to make you lose weight, girl. Eat the freshly meal and that's it. If you want to have an orange, wait till later. I don't get it. Taka Torche says, "I think she's done. Becky probably broke up. She can't leave the house by herself. She'll eat herself to death, being hated by thousands of people. You brought this on yourself. People give you so many chances and you fail faster and faster every time. Girl, bye." I don't know if her, I feel like Becky wouldn't break up with her just because, even just like the money aspect. Amber's probably raking in cash, honey. And Amber's sleeping pattern is probably so messed up. She's probably awake all night, and then she goes to sleep and Becky's like, "Well, time to wake up." Like, I don't think they broke up. You know what I'm saying? So, 2 freshly servings, an entire can of green beans, and what looks like 2 oranges. Nice work, Amberlyn. Enough food for 3 meals. RIP weight loss. That's exactly what I'm saying. Why do you have 2 freaking plates, honey? Not 1, but 2, and they're big. We'll read one more here, and then I'll close it up. Aaron Salamuels, so bad at this, says, "The journey of a million steps certainly doesn't start with 4 sitting mukbangs videos in a row. Show us the daily log of your steps, your calories, your weigh-ins, the ones you don't record / post. Any semblance of life beyond your table and 2 plates of meals. To hell with eat with me videos. How about a dang walk with me? Earn that 10-minute YouTube ad mark for a 10 actual minutes of walking." Exactly. So I don't get why she's saying people are requesting these videos. If anything, people request foodie to eat food. They don't request you to eat food. I think you're getting that confused. People are seeing, like, I just don't get it. I honestly, well, I do get it, because I like tying this back again to psychology, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And there's only so many hours in the day to watch certain girls do crazy things on YouTube. So I want to thank you guys all for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. They showed me how to use the recording side for filming, so I don't want to make any promises, but I'm going to play with that next time I'm in here. And don't forget to drink water. It's very important. Just drink water. If you're not doing anything right now, drink some water. If you're already drinking water, drink more. If you don't have water near you, get up and go get some. And yeah, so have a good day, everyone. And I'll talk to you guys in the next podcast. Bye. Mwah.